to me. Stand up. I know most of us won't be able to hear you, and I don't really care. Stand up right now and share only if you have a risk that you want to take and haven't taken yet. Because this is a much riskier risk, isn't it? Come on. Who's going to do it? Stand up and share that nice and loud. Start for us, dear one. Is this Alyssa? Elise that was in my group yesterday. Elise said she's going to be someday up here doing what I'm doing. Let's give her a hand. One more.
I have not changed the job that I've not liked going to in 20 years. I have not changed my career, and I want to.
And he is about to. Let's give him a hand. Thank you so much, dear one. Awesome. Okay? All right? Question. Who makes more mistakes, successful or unsuccessful people? Successful people make 20 times as many. So again, if you've got a child at home, you've got a young adult at home, you are high-fiving them every time they make a mistake and say, you are right on track. Just a couple more. Do you know what my son is doing at home in Omaha, Nebraska today? A friend of... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you a better story that I told yesterday. What he's doing today is he's selling my product. He's calling principals. He's a senior in high school that's about to go to college. And he said, Mom, I've always wanted to try this. And I said, it will teach you everything about life and everything about learning rejection, because principals are very busy people. He said, can I try it? So he got 3 of his friends together, and they made their first sale yesterday. Yes. But he got a $40,000 scholarship to Drake, based only on the risks he took in his interview with the dean. He had a low ACT, good grades, but a lower ACT than they wanted, because he's not a great test taker. Do you follow me? This isn't something I talk about. This is something we live, and it works every time. Wonderful. Let's move on. One more quickly here. Oh, you know what 95-year-olds regret, don't you? What do they regret? The risks that they what? Didn't take. Enough thinking about it. Just do it. Wonderful. Last but not least, full responsibility. Here's what I want you to do. Students, I want you to turn to the person on one side or the other, look at them in the eye and say, like you really mean it, I am in charge of my life. Do that now. Here we go. I am in charge of my life. Now, I want you to turn. Awesome. We're done. Now I want you to turn to the person on the other side and say, and I'm not in charge of yours. Go. And I'm not in charge of yours. All right. Woo-hoo. Wonderful. Do you know that if you don't get the second half of that equation, you'll never get the first? Because you only got one life. You got to start living yours. And what that's going to do is it's going to get you out of worry and a whole bunch of other things. All right, so to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. So we're going to teach full responsibility to you right now in about 3 minutes. You ready? Move out of BC, move into AD. That's all, students. If it ain't simple, the kids don't remember it. And if they don't remember it, how can they possibly use it? But I remember Maria. You told us that BC was blaming and complaining, and every time we did it, we lost our power. And so I kept the card that my teacher asked me to of how many times I blame and complain. Over 50 in one day. I'm giving away my power over 50 times. And I decide, no more. Maria is going to live for Maria. And my grades are showing it. And then there's the story of Brian. Full responsibility, dear one, is move out of BC, blaming and complaining. Move into AD, acting and dreaming. When I went to that Minnesota school, the principal picked me up in the airport and he said, thanks so much for speaking to the kids tomorrow and the faculty tomorrow afternoon, but here's the deal, Mary Kay. I got this student, he's an 8th grader, and I said, I wondered why you were bringing me in May 17th to speak to your kids. And he says, it's the 8th graders. If you don't come now, they'll never get to hear you. And there's just these 8th graders, I just know I can help. And I said, sure, what do you want me to do? And he said, meet with one of them before school. His name was Brian. And I said, so Brian, thank you so much for taking the risk of meeting with me. I'm awed. That is wonderful. And then I asked him what his dream was, and he said he wanted to be an auto mechanic. In fact, start a shop with his dad. And he lit up into a big smile, and I said, Brian, that's an awesome dream, and I know it's achievable. Okay, I have one more question. why are we here? Why am I meeting with you? And he said, because I'm flunking. And I said, everything? He goes, pretty much. And I said, an obvious question many times we forget to ask, how come? My stepmom. Ooh, tell me about it. Well, she hates me, I hate her, so she wants me to get good grades, I want to get bad grades, so I'm getting bad grades. I said, wow. So your stepmom's in charge of your life? No, she's not. I said, come with me, buddy. We're going to go to the East Coast. We're going to be standing there looking out that beautiful Atlantic Ocean. I'm about 100 yards that way. She's about 100 yards that way, and you're right here in the middle. And we're looking at this beautiful ocean, and all of a sudden, a freak tidal wave, they happen. A freak tidal wave comes and washes your stepmom right away. Oh, she's gone. Brian, what kind of grades are you going to get? Good ones. Oh, wait a minute, she's a really good swimmer. 2 days later, there she is, soggy on the beach. Oh, she's back in your life, Brian. What kind of grades are you going to get? Bad ones. So who's in charge of your life again, Brian? And he jumped out of his chair. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this. I've been giving her power over my... This is gonna stop. And I said, yes, it does have to stop. He was so eloquent, I asked him to speak to the 7th graders. He did a great job. And then when the 8th graders came, I said, I can't ask you to speak to your peers. And he said, I have to. His grades went from all F's and 1 D minus in 3 weeks to B, C, C, D, F. And the principal was grateful he still had an F because he got to see him over summer school and remind him of what he had learned. Okay? Dear ones, I'm sorry I got to sit down because I get teary when I tell this part. Did my coaching Brian change his very, very, very bitter and rageful stepmom? Yes or no? No. He was taken out of the home 2 years later. In his foster home, he still did very well. Last time I heard, Brian was captain of the track team as a junior in high school. Let's give him a hand. Okay, am I about done, Julie? I'm about done? She's telling me I'm about done, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to end with the story of the airplane coming in here. I'm going to end with a story of my son, and I'm going to end with a song. So first of all, how often do I work my 8 to great and your and our Optimist Creed? Every moment of every day. I'm often asked, how long does it take to work the 8 highways? And I say, your next thought. It either feels good and you're moving up the power pyramid, or it doesn't feel good and you're moving down. That's your choice. So here we are after a 3-hour layover in Houston. And we got on the plane, and I heard the man saying, I'm holding on to my job by my fingernails. Where was he in the power pyramid? Give me a number. Pretty low. Then I got back to our seats in the rear, closer to the rear of the plane, and I heard the stewardess say, well, they're asking 600 of us to give up our jobs and resign, and if that doesn't happen, they'll start furloughing. And I said, but things are going to turn around. And she said, you know, I believe that. I believe 2010 is going to be wonderful. I have no reason to believe it, but I do believe it. Where was she? Well, she was closer to 95, wasn't she? I might call her about 65, 75. She's getting there, isn't she? And then I got to tell you, just as the plane was about to take off after this 3-hour layover because of weather, we heard it. I'm guessing she was 4 or 5, and she yelled out, don't worry, Nikki, we're coming. And where was she? She was 95. And dear ones, we all were there at one point in our lives, and we can all get back there. And once we do, and only once we do, can we help others up. Yes? And so here's my last story. I had been writing down my 3 gratitudes for, I don't know, about a month. And my son pulled on my pants leg. He was about 7 at the time. Honey, what'd you want? What's different? I don't know. What's different? Well, you're happier. You're singing all the time. You're laughing all the time. You don't even get mad anymore. Joe noticed it too. We're just curious, Mom. What's different? I said, I don't know. My goodness. Oh my gosh. I started these gratitudes. Oh, you can tell a difference. That is so exciting. He goes, how come you haven't taught us? And I said, you seem pretty happy already, sweetheart, but I'll teach you. We're going to start with 3 gratitudes tomorrow morning. You go tell Joe. he went off and ran and told her. Well, the next day we were going to Boulder, Colorado for a wonderful vacation. So we got in the car at 5 o'clock at night, and I said, okay, 3 things you're grateful for. Let's go around the circle. And when we were done, Zach said, well, I don't feel any different, Mom. And I said, that's okay, honey. That's because you're already at 95. You just wait. That night at 10:30, sure enough, we pulled into the hotel. I woke him up and said, okay, kids, we're here at the hotel. Time to get up. Oh, Mom, I gotta eat something first. I said, sweetheart, it's 10:30 at night. Not time to eat, it's time to sleep. Mom, really, there's McDonald's. And I said, oh, sweetheart, there's like 9 cars in line. And he goes, that's okay, we'll do that stream thing and get back in a good mood. He's 7. He's coaching me. Okay, honey, we'll do that. And so Zach started, and he says, I'm grateful that you just opened up the sunroof so now I can see the stars. And his older sister said, I'm grateful that they're still open at 10:30 at night. Wonderful. I said, I'm grateful that the Midwest is so safe we can be out at 10:30 at night. Zach said, I'm grateful that car just pulled away. Now there's only 8 left. Yeah? And what happened? Pretty soon we were 95-ing, and the guy opened the window when we got there, and I said, thank you so much for being open this late. He goes, no, thank you for being so patient. Here, it's on us. And my son goes, boy, Mom, this stuff really works. Does it? Does it really work? It really does. So let me end with a song that I wrote a while back about the power of just one thought. I'm learning sign language. I know you'll be patient with me if I miss a couple signs. All it needs is one thought. If I knew that love really makes the world go round, if I could see through the mystery, if I could hear the sound of a gesture from the heart, then that symphony would start. Revolutions that would make the world go round. If I knew what one single thought could do, then I would think about what's beautiful and true. If I knew how close I am to you, what I would do if I knew. If I could see how prayer changes people everywhere, if I could tell how a fond farewell leaves a fragrance in the air, if I saw that when we cry, there's an angel standing by, if I could feel how a child can heal from a gentle lullaby, if I knew what one single thought could do, then I would think about what's beautiful. I'd think about what's true. If I knew how close I am to you, what I would do if I knew. Chris, I'm going to ask you to pull it back just a little. Here's what I know to be true. In the words of Marianne Williamson, our deepest fear is not that we are powerless. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Here's what I know to be true. Rejoice always. Again I say rejoice. Fill your minds with everything that is true, good, and worthy, and praise. And the peace of God, the peace we all long for, will be ours. If I knew what one single thought could do, then I would think about what's beautiful. I'd think about what's true. If I knew how close I am, what I would do know it's not our job to teach kids courage and gratitude and hope. You know it's not our job. But when they walked in our schools, they had them. So therefore, somewhere along the way, they've been crushed. So let's get back. What I would do, what I would do, what I would do if I knew. Optimists, do we know what we need to do? Then just do it. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you so much. I am honored to be one of you. Thank you so much.
MK, thank you very much for being with us today and giving us that great message. As a token of our appreciation for you being here, I would like to present to you this copy of our Optimist Creed. Being a brand new optimist, you'll be able to use it.
And I've almost memorized it already.
All
Thank
right.
you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
Blessings.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sweetheart. Love it. Thank you.